What's up? What's up? I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jay Moore. I'm your healthy accountant. And I want to welcome you to this enlightenment broadcast. Today, the title of the broadcast is How to Plan for a Season. How to Plan for a Season. Guys, it is in Proverbs 3, and I think it's verse number 1. And in verse number 1, it says, um, there are times to do specific things and different seasons in which to do them. See, a season, what is a season? What is winter? What is springtime? What is summertime and fall? Like these seasons come no matter what. We were talking this past weekend about clarity of purpose and how, when you are not clear, not when you are, but when you are not clear on what your plan is, when you're not clear on what the plan is, God's plan, let's start there. When you're not clear on what God's plan is for you, then it's going to make your life a bit interesting. I'll call it interesting. Here's why I call it interesting. It's interesting because when you're not walking specifically in the purpose in which God has called you or God has created you for, then what happens is you kind of live life, and life is happening to you. Most of the time you're just sitting there like, man, I can't believe all this stuff has happened. The job market is messed up. People are dying. All these things are supposed to happen. All these things are a part of seasons. And the greatest commodity, you might want to write this down. The greatest commodity that you could have is time. The greatest commodity you can have is time. Well, why would I say that? Because look, you don't get any time back. Think about it. We're in 2019. I'm talking about 2018 is gone. Look, February of 2019 is gone. January is gone already. So if we were sitting here trying to figure out how to do something, then we have to make the most of our time. See, time is one of those things that our results show up as a result of how we spend our time. So it's kind of like if we're out here and, well, if I'm out here and I'm looking to grow my business, if I'm out here looking to be a better father and a husband and a better mentor, coach, how do I spend my time on those things? It's going to matter. So if I don't spend my time wisely, then I'll look up at the end of 2019 and I could be saying, man, the year's gone so fast. Or I could look up and say, man, I'm so glad everything went according to plan. Guys, the greatest level of faith that you could have is going to be planning, putting pen to paper on what it is that you say you're going to do. And this is something that a lot of us just haven't done. I think this year, end of last year, I really put some things to paper. And I have to get better at it. Like I have to do more. I was thinking about how it's changed since December, how some focuses have started to shift a little bit. And I said, well, I got to put pen back to paper, because by putting pen back to paper, by planning it out, then that's gonna help me. That's gonna help me that when the season comes of, maybe a storm comes. Think about when it rains. Like, man, that could slow something down if you're in the construction. When it snows, if you're not the people, plowing plowing when it snows, then, maybe your business had to close. Maybe you couldn't go to work and you couldn't make any money. Or so what happens is when the seasons come, the seasons are always going to affect what are you doing in your life. But did you plan? See, did you plan for it? See, the thing is, the thing about planning is that you really have to look at your time. And the only way you can take control of time is by planning. That's the only way you can do it. So you have to plan out the rest of 2019. You have to decide that I'm going to spend my time a certain way. You know, I think that every day I have a spiritual mentor, and I take time every day to listen to what he has to say. He's actually no longer. I mean, he's not living anymore. But I listen and watch information that he left, so that I could better my life. I have one of his books on my desk, The Power of Character in Leadership. It's Miles Monroe. Um, and so I listen to what he has to say, because I know that my spiritual life for me is very important. My business is absolutely important, but my spiritual life is even more important than anything. And so I listen to what he has to say. I study. There's a lot of scriptures that he uses. Are scriptures that I already knew. I have used them. I understand them, but then I get different perspectives. And so I've been really looking at, you know, the plan that God has set for me. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you to prosper you." And the thing about that verse is that I never really paid attention to that verse until I must just say, until really over the recent years. When I was young, I don't know if I ever heard that verse ever. I don't know that I ever heard it before I turned 40, and I'm 47. And so I maybe the first time I heard it was somewhere between 40 and 47, which probably closer to the 40, 41. But man, that verse, like, had someone been pouring into me, and I went to church, I just don't remember it. I don't remember that being a focus for I know the plans I have for you to prosper you. Prosperity wasn't something that people in the church was talking about. They weren't talking about being prosperous. They just was talking about, oh, keep the commandments, keep the law, and all these things. And I get it. Yes, we should, follow God's law. I think God's law is easy. I think it's simple. Love God with all your heart, and love your fellow man with all your heart. That's his law. That's what Jesus said. So if I can love God with all my heart and love my fellow man with all my heart, man, and not but then if I don't know and understand that Jeremiah 29:11 exists, then I'm walking around and I don't really know what he wants from me. I'm walking around in and out of seasons, just going in and out of winter, going in and out of summer, going in and out, not really knowing exactly where it is he wants me to go. Now, now that's not cool. And so if you don't know, then today you start thinking, you start asking, okay, God, why did you create me? What was your intention when you decided to put me on this earth? See, because we all had an intention. He had a specific thing that he created you for. And because he did that, then you've got to search that out. At the end of the day, God is not pushy. That's what's so cool about God. And it's different from us because we could have a belief and we want to push it on people. God ain't pushing nothing on you. God is like, hey man, I got the way. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way, is what Jesus said. I'm the way. And if you don't know the way, then you should go find him so he can show you the way. But if you're going in and out of these seasons and you don't know that, okay, God has a plan for me to prosper me, but he wants me to come to him and pray. He wants me to come to him. See, that's what he wants. See, he don't just want to sit there and wait and just be trying to throw out his prosperity on you, just throwing it on you. Here, take this. Here, take this. No. See, God really wants you to take control. He wants you to take time, and he wants you to start planning. He wants you to start talking to him, start making a plan, because he's like, dude, if you're not making no plans, if you're not thinking about, what I want for you, and if you're not really putting some things down on, dude, God is just like, I ain't messing with you. See, because I got nothing to work with. I don't even have you trying to do anything. See, because that's how God is. God is not the kind of God that just hands it over to us. He's the kind of God that's waiting for you. You got to make a move. When you make a move, then God is coming. But if you don't make a move, God's like, I guess he don't want. I guess he don't want to roll me. I'll keep knocking on the door, but if he don't turn and walk towards me, then I can't help. You know, God does things for us. We inherently get things because the way God set up the system. God set up the system because, think about this. Summer comes for everybody. Spring comes for everybody. Winter comes for everybody. Every every season, everyone is affected. Everyone is affected. So that's how he created life. He created life so that no person can get around, not having a bad time. No person can get around not having something good happen in their life. No person. Like, that's not, everybody's going to have something good. Everybody's going to have things that's bad. It's like saying, if someone's rich, they're not having any problems. Absolutely having problems. They're probably having problems because they're rich. Because they're rich, and all of the responsibilities that they have is on them. So how do you plan for a season? How do you plan for a storm? How do you do that? I'm gonna tell you, man, you gotta rise to the occasion when those storms come. See, because storms are rough. Nothing like when you hear the tornado is coming. Like, why do they come? Man, there's reasons why they come. It's nature. It's nature. And, you can't stop nature. You can't change nature. Now, different things have happened in nature, but there's nothing we can do to stop summer from coming. There's nothing we can do to stop fall and winter and spring. It's coming. So if that's true, then that means that there's going to be hurricane season. There's going to be tornadoes. There's going to be cyclones, and there's going to be tsunamis, because those storms, have you ever thought of them as ways to clean up, ways to um, cleanse, ways to get rid of things that are old? I can guarantee that when these storms come, anything that is not on solid ground, or anything that is not structurally sound, is coming down. Trees that are that are hollow in the middle, they look good but hollow in the middle, they're coming down. Houses that are not built strong enough, they're coming down. Buildings that the building code didn't get, well, the building code is not great, then that building is probably going to come down. Anything that is not strong. And there's a text in Matthew, I think it's chapter 7. It talks about two builders. Two builders. One builder built his house on solid rock, while the other builder cut some corners. And he didn't quite build it on solid rock. And when the storms came, remember those storms, seasons when the storms came, the man who built on solid rocks, house stood. But the man who built on something that was not solid, like the rock, his house came down. What about your house? Is your foundation set so that when something happens in your life, when winter shows up in your life, can you handle it? Are you able to um, not complain about the situations that show up because of the seasons? Or are you the kind of person that welcomes a new season, that says, you know what, this is only a season, and every season must pass. Summer must go to fall. Fall must go to winter. Winter must go to spring. We are getting close to spring. It's March. It's already, I'm talking, we're getting close to spring. getting close. See, planning for a season means that you know that a season's coming. So you think if you know winter's coming, what would you do? If you know summer is coming, what would you do in fall and spring? If you know it's coming, what would you do? But think about your life now. If you know that these things could happen in your life, how would you plan your time? Would you hang out on social media and not watching videos like this, or you're watching cat videos, or you're watching just regular stuff? You're watching other people's lives and not really paying attention to your own. Would you do that if you know that winter is coming? Would you put your time on, a bunch of TV and movies, if you knew that, springtime was coming, and when the springtime comes, it's going to bring new harvest? Would you risk the harvest on the movies or the shows? Would you do that? See, the thing is, if you want to plan for a season, then you got to know that it's coming. You've got to initiate, you've got to decide that, you know what, I'm not going to allow this season not going to get the best of me. I'm going to ride it out. It's not like the person that's in the storm talking about, I'm going to ride it out. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna bat down the hatches. I believe my house is on solid ground. I'll find out if it's on solid ground, and I'm gonna ride it out because it's gonna pass. And sometimes those people look like that, like they're crazy. But you know what? Now, sometimes they lose their life, and their rock that they was on wasn't strong enough. But then there's a lot of times where people come out and they say, we made it. Yeah, we got some cuts and some bruises. We may have to fix a few things, but man, we made it. We rode it out. We were not going to allow that circumstance, that season, that storm to take us out. What about you? How's your foundation? Have you planned for your season? Or are you waiting for the season to show up and then try and bat down the hatches? Plan for it today. Take the day to start thinking about your life and start thinking about, where you have come from. Think about the results that you have today. Think about the results that you want in your life, from your spiritual life all the way to finances and family and all those things that go into life. Think about that and start making your plan. Write down all the things that you want to happen. Just write them down. Write them all down. But know that the season's coming. Knowing that, you know what, if I'm planning right, I'll get through the season. And all these things will be a part of the plan God had for me from the beginning. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me today. My name is Jay Moore, and I'm your healthy accountant. And today's Enlightenment broadcast was how to plan for a season. We took excerpts from Ecclesiastes 1. We also took excerpt from Jeremiah 29:11 and 12. And we also took an excerpt from Matthew chapter 7, in verse 24 and down through 27. So, guys, if you got any value from this program, would you please, if you would like, share, comment, let us know what you think. Let us know what value you got from it. But really, the most you can do is to come back, watch us again tomorrow, listen to this enlightenment, because this enlightenment program is all about change. It's all about helping you to change wherever you are so that you can do the things that you've been called to do, that you were created to do. That's why this program was created. And so I appreciate you today for coming and listening and watching this program. So look, God bless you, and I'll see you back here on the internet. Take care.